This is part 2 of me showing my portfolio. This is another Rorschach inkblot test, inkblot or whatever that I did with food coloring. I did them on cardstock, if you're wondering, and I folded them in half, and I just dripped food coloring on them. This is a version of the Virgin Mary in gray with the baby Jesus, and she is it's for like a logo for a library that I thought of. No library uses it, but I thought it was a cool logo idea to create, or cool idea to create a logo. And she's holding a book and she's reading Baby Jesus a book, and they both got halos. See, and then then oh, I got something on it. Okay, yeah, but there's the feet, and it's just a simple idea. And I wanted the book to be red because, that's a primary color, and it gives you something central to focus on in the design. This is a portrait I tried to do of a friend. Didn't turn out too much looking like her, but it's nice. This one is the horse that this is like a centaur type horse or whatever. It was actually designed in 3 panels, and it's kind of like Egyptian hieroglyphs is how I thought of it, but and I thought of it from Jackson Pollock's drawing of a horse for his psychoanalyst. And this is kind of, I did this in crayon, and the shading's spot on, and the hand is really beautiful. And the nose, the teeth, and the eye, see the eye, the eyelashes, the hand, the nose, the teeth, then the ear, and then the back, the mane, and then here's the arm extends. And then this middle panel, see, is just a to show you the 3 panels. This is, pretty abstract, these two, and then this is like the mane, and there's the arm and where the shoulder is in the middle of the back, and then here's the rear and the tail that shoots up, and it's 3 panels. It's pretty cool. Did that on sketch paper. This one is some pine trees with a red sun, and I actually got the idea of the red sun. It's not exactly the same, but I got the idea of this red sun with these types of rays in the background. This technique for the sun in landscapes and stuff, from the Japanese sun on the flag, I think it is. But there's the pine trees, and good use of triangles, and you can see the rays, and there's the rocks and the river, and there's the ground, and there's birds up here, 3 birds, and they're flying in a flock. This one is based off of a picture that Van Gogh did, and it might have been Starry Night if I remember right, but it's marker with crayon to color it, and I use like accented lines for movement, and it's not, it's kind of a disturbed night or whatever. This one is the alien language again, but this one is a completely separate alphabet. So this is totally different characters from the other one that I did. And they're pretty neat doing these. I just do these out of my subconscious, and they don't take me long, unless they're really large. This one's probably my favorite caricature right here. And, okay. Then this one is a map of like an imaginary place, like for a book. And it started with an food coloring Rorschach, and I just put like words and a scale and sea monsters and different things, and outline the land masses and put mountains and waterfalls. See, there's a waterfall. And there's a sea monster, and then that's a mountain right there. And and that's like the capital city, where the capital city would be. I don't know why I kept this one, but this is just, a graphic of that I did that was abstract of oil pastels. And then this is another version of that cottage window that I came up with for like an English cottage, with the stained glass or clear window. It's checker patterned, and and I did the design and food coloring actually, and marker. Okay. This one is a picture of the crucifixion, and it is pretty good. This is not in it's in 3 dimensions, but it's just his body that's in perspective, and things are layered. So this is what it looks like. And, this one is based off of, the guitars that Picasso made, and his abstract cubist guitars, but I use watercolors, and I use Sharpie to make this, and that's paint, red paint. This is another picture of the goggles. Let me get this clear. But this is a picture of Jesus that I did. And I blacked out most of the face to create kind of a shadow effect. And this is, and I gave him long hair and a really long beard. This is another version of a Judeo-Christian iconography of Jesus, and it is more traditional, I would say, but and this is done in Sharpie. And then this one is a crucifixion, and this is done in Sharpie, and it has the disturbed lines of movement to create an effect. I actually really like El Greco's work as far as crucifixions go. And that's really where I got started with crucifixions, was by copying him. This is a picture of the Last Supper again. There's my signature and the 12 apostles, Jesus, and there's grapes, bread, and yeah. So there's the doorway and the other doorway and the picture in the back. I do a lot of Last Suppers and crucifixes of different variations. This is just some of that alien symbology that I come up with, out of the cuff and out of my subconscious. And then this is some more of that. This is actually meant to be like Japanese calligraphy, is what I was practicing. And like I came up with this. I think this is oil. Yeah, this is oil pastels. But it is, it's not. It's obviously very different from Japanese calligraphy, but that's what I was basing it off of. I think I was obsessed with haikus at that time. But this one is a guitar. If you look, you can see the stem of the guitar, and there's where they tie off, and down here is the the chamber, and this is supposed to be abstract forms of alien musical notes. And then this one is actually based off of the the banker gremlins or whatever they're called in let me focus it in Harry Potter, but it is obviously not the same at all, because it is, it's my own design out of my head, straight out of my head. It's just that that's what I was thinking of when I drew it. And I drew this in Sharpie, and it's pretty cool. And then, god damn it. I'm trying to focus it. Okay. And then this is a penguin. And there is a tree in the background and a fire pit, and there are two people laying down, and I drew them as stick figures. This is just a rough cartoon. I always loved how Picasso worked with line, and so I like to do outlines in line drawings. And there's birds and a sun. This one is supposed to be a redneck. I don't know where he's from, but he's definitely got the clothing for it. But yeah. I put he's not necessarily from USA, but, I would obviously assume so. But, I'm also from the USA, so it's fair game. He's a Republican, I'm not. This is a picture that I did after reading Eli Wiesel's Night. There's a figure in the center if you look, and there's actually barbed wire at the top. It was originally just a kind of a concept for a man trying to escape a Holocaust camp, and I don't know why I thought of it, but yeah, I don't mean any disrespect by it. I think it was actually a good drawing. It's abstract, but I do like to experiment with different things in different cultures and look at different things. And one of the things that I think everybody should be educated on is the Holocaust, because there's a lot of life lessons that can be learned from the Holocaust. Like Viktor Frankl and Elie Wiesel are two very important figures that you can learn a lot from. I was actually reading about some of the stuff that in the Holocaust that was pretty sad, and then I was reading about some of the moral choices that had to be made by some of these people, and it was interesting. This is a man who is sleeping, standing up, and he's standing in front of the door to my subconscious, and there's a brick wall behind him. And so he is, and there's light coming out of the doorway. Yeah. And then this one is a vase with flowers, and it's on a table. This one is a picture of Jesus praying by the Sea of Galilee. I don't know why I had him in this position, but it's just I think it was based off of what Buddhist monks look like sitting in, the position that they sit in. This one is Saint Michael at the gates of heaven, and he's an archangel, and he has the flaming sword waving in front of his face, and he's blocking the path. There's the rising sun back there, the clouds that he's standing on, and this is another picture that I did after I read Elie Wiesel's book Night. I don't know why I drew these, but they were just in my mind. Not really anything that's representational, I don't think. But yeah. I actually had nightmares after I read Elie Wiesel's book. And the nightmares that I had were about, different things that he said in the book. And, I actually researched a lot of things into it, and it was very interesting. But this is a picture of, this is just a picture that I did in Sharpie. It's abstract. This one was originally supposed to be a picture of Jesus, but to me it looks like an Afghan hound as far as the face, which I'm not a fan of. I like Afghan hounds. I just, nothing against them. This one is a wooden table, and it's based off of an artist who I believe is Dutch, who did like jugs and stuff in still life. And this is, if you look, there's the table, and it's abstract, and there's the light coming in, so I use his technique, which is pretty neat, in the simplified situation. This one is an abstract collage that I drew with Sharpie, and it is not coming into focus. There, let me see. Yeah, so these are some of the things that are in it, and that's a big view of it. And there's actually a wizard staff if you look, and a hand holding the wizard staff, see here. And then this is another vase and flowers, but this is like an umbrella stand that this was supposed to be, and I was working with the shadow work. This is another version of Saint Michael with the sword that I was trying to do, with the rising sun in the background and the clouds as the gate to heaven. This is another version that I did, and this is a little bit different. I was working with different concepts, and then this one is of a clown, and yeah, it's kind of hard to get this in focus, but this is what this looks like, yeah. And I use like road signs for the idea, and bubbles in the background and stuff. This one is supposed to be like a chemistry kit, and actually was playing around with this when I was reading about Sophie Germain and the chemist who discovered Marie Curie and her husband. This one is like a fairy, and it's based off of Puck in, I think it's Puck in William Shakespeare's play. I forget which one that is, but there's like a little house in the background, and there's a tree, and he's wearing a laurel, kind of, and it's falling down on him. This is actually a version of the St. Michael picture, but it wasn't meant to be like St. Michael at this time. It's based off of the Suicide King, actually. In the card deck, it was a design that I came up with for that, because I was thinking about designing playing cards. This one is, this is another version of Puck that I came up with. And it's, he's got a mustache. He's got the laurel wreath, and, he's got a stopwatch in his pocket. I don't know why. It's just more of a semi-modern British version. They always have mustaches. Just joking. Not really. Not really. They don't have mustaches. Not all of them. And, but, where's it? God, why is this not coming into focus? Okay, so this is using that same technique for the light. And this is Jesus, this is the Last Supper, and this is a little more detailed in the face. And each apostle is really individualized in this, and the table is a little more detailed. And I actually shaded on one side, and I used, actually filled in the tiles with black and white. This one is a tree spirit, and it's based off of something that's in my head. It's based off the wood character in Hildy on Netflix. That's what I based the picture on. But it's like an older version of him, when he's a grandpa. I don't know. But I also have done wind spirits before. This one is a picture that I just drew out of my head. It's an outline, and I thought it was good. I did this with spray paint, fluid, not actual spray paint cans. This one is supposed to be a schizophrenic who is homeless and sitting at a on a milk crate on the side of the road, and he's hearing the different voices as the different faces that exist around him that are speaking, and I put a smiley face on his face in the picture to create almost like a psychotic view of himself and his own self-image. So this one is graffiti, and it says, what does it say? One fight for society for all. Yeah. Oh, fight for one society for all. That's what it was. Fight for one society for all is what it says. Yeah, and I did this. And this is pretty cool. Yeah. And this one is a picture of a specific type of flower. It's not violets. It's some kind of bells or whatever is the name of the flower. But and it's slightly differentiated from the actual. And then this one is a picture that I drew of an eyeball that is extended on 3 legs or a tripod with a back kind of like a spider, and I call it spider silk. And this one I did with crayon, black crayon. This is actually a logo that